What is up? What is up? Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. And it is football time today. Football Thursday. The season begins. We got a very special guest in the house tonight. We got Micro Mike in the building from Chat Sports. How you doing today, my guy? How you
I
feeling
am
about
freaking.
football
I'm living
Thursday?
the dream. I'm living the dream, bro. I gotta say, your intro was sick. That Ms. girl on there. Oh my god.
You're funny. You're funny, man. Yeah, man. I just try to show everybody all the different things we do over here. It's football majority, but we switch it up a little bit from time to time. But man, how's it going, man? Are you excited to even be watching football tonight? Are you more excited for our game this Sunday?
Oh, I'm super hyped for the game tonight. Freaking excited. Finally got real football. We've been waiting since off season, and it's been a long time. Preseason, yeah, it's cool, but it's not real football. And now we can get into it, have another good season, and just enjoy the gridiron.
How'd you like your team at the end of last year? Let's get straight to it. How'd you like the Lions? At least they started to show a little fight at the end of last year. How you like it going into the offseason?
I love the fight that the Lions took at the end of last year. They started off really rough, and, with all the injuries that we sustained, lack of talent, new year for our first coach, Dan Campbell, there, and Jared Goff coming in from a trade, and the way that they persevered, even though we're completely out of the playoffs by, he's halfway through the season.
Halfway through the season, it's all right. It's all right.
But they kept fighting. So that's
Mhm.
exactly what you want to have to build a culture. You want the players to believe in the system. And when you're fighting at the last games of the year, knowing you're out, hey, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And, that shows that the team is growing, they're developing. I see you guys, a couple more years you got to watch out for you guys, what I'm saying, for sure. And it might start out this year, but I do think you guys are going to be a lot better than you were last year, but how much better is, yet to be seen. How do you feel about the offseason, the draft, and what's going over there in Detroit?
Oh, I feel really good. I was at training camp last year. I got to see what was taking place, and it was cheeks. It was not good at all. The offense was struggling to move the ball, even 5 yards. I was at training camp basically the whole time this year, and the offense was rolling on all cylinders. The addition of DJ Chark really making the defense spread out and doing some big plays. Josh Reynolds and Jared Goff are on target. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks to be unstoppable.
That's my guy.
DeAndre Swift, he looks good. This team is much improved from what it was last year.
Yeah, I love Armand. He's a USC boy. That's my college team. I'm from Cali, so I love seeing all my USC guys get out there. I want to see what Drake does this year. You know what I'm saying? Woods over there in Tennessee. Let's see what happens with some of these guys. But yeah, you guys got a lot of talent. Shark, man, how do you feel about the Shark? Is he the number one, or is Armand number one, Shark number two? How they playing that out?
Personally, you'd think that DJ Chark would be number one, but the way that Amon-Ra St. Brown has been killing it in training camp, he's going to get a ton of targets. Jared Goff is focusing on him quite a bit. So if you want to talk about numbers, I'd have to give it right now to Amon-Ra St. Brown because Jared Goff's going to him a lot, and I mean a lot. But the Lions do a lot of play action, and that's where you're going to see DJ Chark for the bigger play. But expect Amon-Ra St. Brown to kind of be that number one right now.
What was the biggest improvement you guys made over the offseason, you think?
Wide receivers. Last year's wide receiver depth was absolutely atrocious. Brashard Perryman and Tyrell Williams was our number one and number two going into the season. Brashard Perryman got cut before week one. Tyrell Williams went down. Then we had Khalif Raymond and Quintez Cephas became our 1 and 2. Then Quintez Cephas went down. It was a mess at the wide receiver position. So our general manager, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they went into this season changing that. They got DJ Chark. They went and got, obviously, Jamison Williams in the draft. They traded up for him. Wide receiver core, it went from one of the, if the worst one in the NFL, to probably, I'd say, top 10 at this point. It's really scary good from the depth from 1 all the way to 5.
Nice. And I like some of those names. Speaking of Jamison Williams, how is he doing in his recovery?
And he's ahead of the process. Definitely. That's all we're hearing is rave reviews. But our leadership wants to make sure we take it slow with him because he's not just for this year. He's going to be a player for years to come. So I suspect he'd probably come about week 7 is when you'll see him come in. But he's doing great. He's ahead of schedule. He's already running up and down the field and cutting a little bit. So, the prognosis is really good for him.
Nice, nice. So week 7, then he slides into that 3 spot and earns his way up probably.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's dangerous. I cannot wait to see him on the field. Him and Shark, it's going to terrorize defenses this year.
Golf. Are you team golf? Or are you on the fence still about him? Do you think this is you guys' future quarterback, or do you think this is his last tryout?
I think, look, I'm not a golf truther. That's what I believe Lions fans who are in love with Jared Goff, I call them truthers. And then you got the golf haters that just hate the guy. I'm more in the middle here. Do I believe he's the long-term answer? Personally, no. I think that we'll draft a quarterback at some point. But he has been phenomenal so far in training camp. And in the one time he was in preseason, he was doing exactly what he did in training camp. He was hitting every target. He is more comfortable than he was last year by far. His confidence is up. We'll see. This is a tryout year for him. I think the only way that we wouldn't get a quarterback at some point is if he took us to the playoffs. I just don't believe we're going to get there. But hell, he's got this year to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's quarterback's under scrutiny these off seasons these days. You know what I'm saying? If you're not elite, then you got people talking about you one way or another. So we got one of them over here with Jalen Hurts. It is Hurts season, second year in the same system. We were looking for big things from him this year. What would be the biggest threat you think the Eagles pose to you guys for coming week 1?
Oh, the biggest threat. Where do I even start there? I went over your team, so I was talking to you. I work for Herman Moore, and I went over your team, your whole roster. And you guys may be the most underrated team right now in the NFL. People should be talking about it a lot more. There's 2 games that worry me this year. It's the Eagles and the Bills. So when I say what part of your team worries me, can I just say the whole damn team? Because your defensive line's ridiculous. Okay, it's top 5. I feel like of talent across the board. Hassan Reddick. Let's go ahead and get Nakobe Dean. Let's go ahead. I got all these. I got Davis in the middle there. Graham. It's ridiculous. You go to your offensive line, considered the number 1 offensive line in football. You got obviously excellent wide receivers in Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown. I love Zach Pascal. He's probably your most underrated player on your team. He was the 5th best slot receiver last year, putting up a ton of points, good at blocking. Offense, defense, special teams. You guys got a good team.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think there's a lot of people that are still on the fence about the team. I feel the same way, man. I feel like we're top 5 in like pretty much every positional group there is in NFL. So it's like, how can you think this team cannot do it? Yes, we got to put it all together. We got to gel. There's a lot of new faces in the building, but I always say when they're that talented, Reddick's had double-digit stats in the NFL before twice already. You know what I'm saying? You got Kaiser White ball down in San Diego, great defense out there, young guy growing. Dean Jordan from Georgia, one of the best defenses ever in colleges. You got raw talent, man. That chemistry comes along a lot faster. And I think 3 months before the season, that's plenty of time to get these guys gelling.
Oh, it's plenty of time. Your guys' defense is extremely underrated. When people talk about Hassan Reddick, like it's just a normal name. This guy's a beast. He can get to the quarterback. He makes sacks. I've coveted him on my team for 2 years now. Raw Detroit. He does a lot of scouting. He's my buddy there, and he knows all about prospects. We can tell you right now, just looking at your roster, your defense scares the hell. And I tell you what, when you face teams like the Chicago Bears who have no offensive line, good luck. Good luck to the Giants. Good luck to the Dallas Cowboys. Good luck to the Commanders, because I think you guys are going to win the NFC East. I think 12, 13 wins potentially.
Yeah, I already won it. I don't even worry about that part of the season anymore. Like, for reals, not to be cocky about it, but I just feel like the team's way too. If we can't win our division, some people need to get fired. Everybody need to get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the 1-year contracts not coming back. The coaches need to get fired. We need to retool this whole thing up because there's way too much talent on this football roster. not to be winning, like you said, 12 games. I have them at 12, 13. I was at 13-4, then I went to like 14-3 because for me, it's just really hard to find games they're going to lose. Like we have the second easiest schedule in the NFL this year. I know it's on paper. You never know. A team can come out of nowhere and be a lot better than they were last year, and you take an L there. But man, it's hard to really see us losing. Like if we got the potential, and if we can play to the capabilities that I think we can get to with this pin, man, the sky's the limit. I say 14-3. We might even be first place in the NFC. I think it is a top 5 to 10 team in the league for sure, but more even towards the top 5 in terms of rosters. So we're gonna definitely see how that works out. In terms of Detroit, how's you guys' record looking this year? How many good teams are there that you're really worried about? Where the games you think, okay, we should go get this?
It's funny you said you guys have the second easiest schedule. We have the third easiest schedule right there, so we're right behind you. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles scare me a little bit. I think we're taking this L. I've been saying this for a long time now. The Bills scare me. We got the Green Bay Packers. They're always really tough to face, and we gotta face them twice. The Miami Dolphins, we have them on the schedule. They are underrated as well. They got a lot of speed on that team. Tariq Hill, Waddle. That scares
That's
me because
crazy.
yeah, crazy. We're not good with
That's
speed.
crazy right there. Just by itself, you know what I'm saying? We gotta face it, man. Gotta get those boys too. That's how you stop Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill
It's
is a cheat code
impossible.
by himself. Like people really thinks Patty Mahomes about to go out there and ball out. I'm not saying he's knocking the ball out because he is a good quarterback, but his numbers might go a little bit down without a guy like Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is a burner. We've seen it already in
Mhm.
preseason, and if you watch Dolphins camp, he's killing it. Him and Tua are on a connection right there, and that's what happens when you have a dynamic player with the speed in the engine that he has. So that team scares me a little bit. But I think we can get 7, 8 wins. There's a lot of teams we do face. Seattle Seahawks, I don't think they're that good. Chicago
Mhm.
Bears, I think they're top 5 worst team in the NFL. We faced them
You
twice. We always split with Minnesota. You got the Jets, Giants as well. So, 7, 8 wins, I think for Detroit is reasonable.
Yeah, and then to go into next year, probably take that next step.
Yeah.
How do you like Dan Campbell? He's that raw, physical, aggressive type coach. It's like, do you like that? Do you think it was time for Detroit to get a coach like that in there? And hey, what I'm saying, like it's time to stand up. It's time to fight. What I'm saying, let's go bite somebody. How do you feel about the coach over there?
Oh, I absolutely love Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is exactly what Detroit needed. We have a problem with culture here in Detroit. We lose a lot. We're made fun of. We need a guy that's more gritty. He's about being physical. We've always had finesse football teams here in Detroit. Always we just throw the football all the time, but we never want to run. We never want to be physical up front. He's changing that. We got a really dominant offensive line like you guys. We run the football. Or he reminds me of, if you look at the San Francisco 49ers when they had Harbaugh, that's the
Mhm.
type of team they're trying to build here in Detroit. Run, 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 play action, and a big play every once in a while here. And that's exactly what you need in Detroit. You're going against teams like the Minnesota Vikings, who's physical, and you're going against Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North. So you got to be able to get to the quarterback. You got to be able to out punish other players in the opponents you're going against. And that's what he is. He's exactly that. And he hired a Avengers of coaching staff around him with Deuce Staley, with Aaron Glenn, with Ben Johnson, a lot of former players as coaches, and it's really working in Detroit.
Nice. Hey, shout out to the 33 in here. Please hit that like, subscribe if you have not subscribed to either, Bird Game 31 or, Micro Mike over here with Chat Sports. I know you guys seen him. I see a lot of Lion fan in here. And we got one here. Raw Detroit says, how do you got Eagle fans look at Jalen Hurts? I think Jalen Hurts is in the best situation he could possibly be in. And I think, he's great, man. I don't see what all the hate comes from. He is the only quarterback, in his first 20 games to have 4,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing. He's a dual threat quarterback that's, true dual threat. He doesn't overrun to, hurt himself. He don't take a lot of hits, and he throws good enough, with the weapons that we have to get the job done in the air too. So I'm team Hurts. It's Hurts season. I think he's going to be an MVP candidate this year with the team around him. I know every year he's going to grow. He's in his first year. No quarterback understands defenses in their first year playing the game. So it's going to take him a couple years to be great, but he's definitely on the right track and he's definitely on the right pace, to be great. So I think that jump happens year one to year two in the same system that he's been in for the last 2 years now. He's never had that in his career, so I think that's going to help out a lot for him in his development and growth. So yeah, I'm excited. There are some people who are still on the fence about Jalen Hurts. I'm one of the big Jalen Hurts fans in terms of the Eagle content creators. There's a lot of them out there and still not sure about him. And he gave you a little bit of reason last year with some of the plays he didn't make and some of the mishaps. But like I said, that was all year one. New coaches, new coaching staff. We didn't run the football very much. People dropped balls. We had touchdowns called back. There's a lot of things going on with those numbers. I just think you got to let them grow and keep going. How do you feel about Hurts?
I like Hurts, and I really don't understand the hate for him. Again, year two. How do you help out a young quarterback as you put talent around them? And that's what they did. They went and traded and got A.J. Brown. Miles Sanders looked like he's starting to get healthy now, running the football. Year two of Smith in there, and you got a great defense. That's exactly what you do. He's a dual threat quarterback. The league is going into the mobile quarterback where you can scramble, get out of the pocket, launch the football because the corners can't stay on the wide receivers the whole time. That's what he brings. I think people just relax, let this guy go ahead and play. Give him an opportunity to show what he can do. It's not like this guy's a veteran. Carson Wentz was with you guys for a long time. I'm sorry, but Jalen Hurts is much better than Carson Wentz. Give him a
Mhm.
little more time. You gave Wentz time.
Right after year one, Jalen had better numbers after year one of Carson with his team, Jalen with his team, and like we anointed Carson Wentz. We're like, hey, we know you're a rookie, but we've seen a lot of good things. Let's go. He's our franchise quarterback. Let's go. He's our guy. And the next year he went out and balled down until he got hurt. Led us, pretty much led us to our first Super Bowl, which was awesome. But man, Jalen's on a whole nother level to me. He's that next level. He's that new breed of quarterback. Kind of what the league's moving into. Where it's like you got to be able to do both. You know what I'm saying? But it's also leading to, like you said, you have to stack your team. The Super Bowl's won by teams. Aaron Rodgers. How many Super Bowls he got? One Super Bowl. Brett Favre won. Peyton Manning two. Like some of the best quarterbacks. Drew Brees. What he got? One. Like they all only have one Super Bowl. So it's like it doesn't just take, a pocket quarterback that can sit there, and destroy defense. You need a full team to win in the NFL this year. And you need a lot of weapons around them. Like look at the Rams last year. How many receivers they have that could have started on other teams? You know what I'm saying? Like they had three good receivers, and possibly four. If you look at some of those tight ends over there, the Bucks same way. They had Antonio Brown when they won, plus Evans and Godwin. You got to have multiple skill position players. You got to basically you got to have more talent, running out there than the defense has in the backfield, to cover. And right now, I think the Eagles got that. I think we're very deep. Like you said, Pascal's very underrated. You should see a lot more from him this year. You got Quez Watkins, I think, is going to be my game breaker. When people are looking at AJ and Smitty, who's going to stop the speed of Quez Watkins? You're talking about Tyreek Hill speed. This guy's super fast. He claims to be number one in the league in terms of fastest. I wish that we would have seen Miami when we were facing Miami in those joint practices. Someone would have got those two together and had them go race, but it didn't happen. But man, like I'm saying, like he's up and coming young football player too. Like he hasn't hit his prime yet. He's still learning the game, and I think we're going to be very dangerous. And Miles Sanders, man, I want to talk about running backs for a little bit. How do you feel about your backfield? You know what I'm saying? And who do you think is going to be that guy that, really takes over the backfield this year?
We got a hell of a good depth at the running back position. Right now, we got 3 active running backs on the roster, and I believe 2 that is on the practice squad. DeAndre Swift is our number 1 running back. He has all the ability in the world. This guy can hit the hole. He's got that burning speed that if he can turn it up, it's a big play. He can go run 52 yards like it's nothing. He's great out of the backfield as a pass catching running back. The only issue with him is he's just got to stay consistently healthy. He's been injured quite a bit. And when you're not on the field, it hurts his production. And then behind him, you got Jamal Williams, who you've probably seen on Hard Knocks. This guy is more
Mhm.
of that 1 to 2 yard back. He will get those yards every single time. He's a very type of player that really just hits you in the mouth, that loves collision. Then our number 3 is Craig Reynolds. He is a do-it-all back. I love Craig Reynolds. He's not great at one thing. He's just really good at everything. He's always consistently getting first downs. I think he averages 5.1 yards a carry. So Lions got a really good backfield. But Swift, he's got to stay healthy. That's it. That's really, if he stays healthy, then he could get 1,000 yards rushing for sure.
We say the same thing over here with Miles Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Miles to just stay healthy full season, if he can get the ball consistently, same thing. He's going to be top back in this league. And I did feel the same way about Swift over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always get the question over here, like, do you really think it's going to happen though? Like, what's your gut feeling telling you? Like, I'm still like, I believe he can. If we start out running the ball early, with him, like we wait to the middle of the season before we try to make him hot. It's like I'm playing running back position. You gotta, get me started early. And plus running opens up the passing game. So get me started early. Let me get my part of the game. So then when you're airing it out, I don't feel like I was left out. You know what I'm saying? I did my part and helped you guys get open. So I think that Miles Sanders is going to get a contract extension this year. I think he's going to be healthy. I'm going out on the limb saying that. But how do you feel about Swift?
I love Swift, but I still have my doubts of him staying healthy because he hasn't done it so far in his whole career. And he came into camp in much better shape. I spoke to him. He looked really good. With that said, you got to show me at this point. We're talking year 3. You've missed a lot of games in 2 years. And if you've done it already missing games, you have to prove it to me. So I have my doubts that he's going to stay healthy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I know you said offensive line. Where do you rank your offensive line? You said Eagles number 1. Are you saying
I say it's number 1, right next to you guys, 1 or 2. We got a really good offensive line. You got Taylor Decker, who's, I would say, probably top 10 left tackle. Jonah Jackson, he's our guard. He went to the Pro Bowl, I think, 2 years straight. Frank Ragnow, Pro Bowler. He's either the best graded center or the second best graded center. Halabaludi Vati Vaitai is not going to be playing in this game, by the way. But he's really good. I talked to Lomas Brown. He's a Lions Hall of Famer offensive line. He said last year he played the best out of the whole team. And then Penei Sewell, who we drafted last year, is just ridiculous at the right tackle position. So, yeah, it's a really good, and we got pretty good backups at guards too. We got Evan Brown. He's the backup center. He should be starting on other teams. When Frank went down last year, we didn't skip a beat there. And the 2 guards, Tommy Kramer and Logan Stenberg, are pile drivers. So we got a sick offensive line, and that's why I'm also excited about this game, because you guys got a ridiculous defensive line, and we got a ridiculous offensive line. This is a great test for us. If we can able to protect Goff just a little bit in this game, that means we got good games ahead of us regarding protection and running the football.
Wow, I didn't know they were that good. You just put some extra sauce on top of that. I like it, man. They sound like that. No, I know about Sewell. Obviously Vaitai played with us, so I'm really familiar with him. But yeah, I think that could be a formidable line this year. What about your defensive line?
Defensive line is okay. We have really good edges. That's where I'll start there. Aiden Hutchinson is everything that you would expect. He's ridiculous. I've been at practice. Every single practice, he had a sack. You can't hit the quarterback. In preseason, he's had a sack every single game he's been out there. He's getting quarterback pressures. He never gives up. He's forcing holding penalties because he's so fast. He's consistently getting grabbed. He is ridiculous. He's got to be the foregone conclusion right now, defensive rookie of the year. Then we got Charles Harris, who last year we picked up from the Atlanta Falcons. He's been a monster for the Lions. He's good on the other side. He's getting a lot of pressure, getting a lot of sacks. And Austin Bryant, our backup, is really good as well. Our issue stems from the interior. We got a really good lineman in Aleem McNeil. He's more of that 3-tech nose tackle. He is good. I love what he can do, but he's not the guy that's going to get pressure on the quarterback. He's the guy that's going to stop the run game. And then we got Levi Onwuzurike and Joshua Pascal, second-round pick this year and last year, who's injured and doesn't show up. That's where the problem is. So I think for you guys, running down the middle of the Lions defensive line will probably be productive for you. And I think that's what we're going to see because the interior is sus, but everything else is pretty good.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So you're saying we need to run the ball down the middle. That's where we're gonna get the most success from.
Yep.
Hutchinson, man, he is a beast, man. How good do you think Hutch could be his first year? Defensive Rookie of the Year or
Yep.
Defensive Player of the Year? Is he going to be like a JJ Watt, Bosa top, Nick Bosa type guy? As soon as you come in, just straight dominate, you know? Or do you think he's going to be good, but he's going to need his time to grow into the league?
I loved him coming out of Michigan. I'm actually an Oregon Duck fan, and so everyone's like, "You want Kayvon Thibodeau?" No, I wanted Aiden Hutchinson because of his relentlessness. And I thought, maybe he can just get 10 sacks this year. He can be a pretty good defensive end. It takes a little bit for a rookie, but from what I've seen from practice to preseason, I think he could be that Nick Bosa type of guy. I think he can be that Chase Young year one bona fide defensive rookie of the year. He's scary good. And we hit a grand slam with him. Sky's the limit for Ada Hutchinson. If he stays healthy, he's going to make some noise. He's going to make a lot of noise.
Is he number one jersey sales? I heard. What a dream it would be to be playing. High school, college, and like you don't even have to move anywhere. You're just there. In Detroit for the team you probably grew up loving, wanting to play for, and now you're the number one pick and starting for him. How awesome would you think that would be for him?
Oh man, he was a Lions fan when he was a little kid and getting flag football. So I mean, he literally stayed in Michigan the whole time. His mom said that she would cry if the Lions didn't pick him, and the Lions did, and she was extremely happy. There was question marks before the draft. Does he even want to come to Detroit? Clearly he has, and he's excited to stay here. And I think it's an amazing story. The odds of this happening is unlikely, but it's literally perfect situation for him and for the fan base. Got a lot of fans here because a lot of Michigan fans.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He just bringing his crew.
Yep.
Here we go. All the way through. If I remember him when he was playing a little Pop Warner football, like we knew he was going to be in the NFL. Now he is on the face of billboards everywhere. That's awesome, man. So I like to do something where it's called like, all time list. We're going to just go through a couple of Detroit Lions, positions, and you just let me know growing up who's your all-time favorite player at these positions. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's your favorite all-time Detroit quarterback?
I know a lot of people's going to make fun of me on this one, but I think Matthew Stafford probably has to be my all-time favorite because it was my generation. We got drafted. It's funny. I went to that draft in 2009. I met Stafford and Roger Goodell. So that left a mark. And, he did a lot of good here in Detroit. He got a lot of yards, put us on the map as a team that wasn't pathetic. So I'm going to go with Stafford.
Running back is Barry, obviously.
Yeah, that's a given, man. Barry
Hands down.
Hands down.
Give me 3 receivers.
Well, of course, I got to go with Herman Moore. That's my boss.
Smart man.
You know it, man. I got to go with my boss there. He's the coolest cat in the world. Nice guy. Megatron, we already know Megatron. He's an idol here in Detroit. I love everything about him. And I'll do an interesting one. Nate Burleson. I love how he
good in Detroit.
And he's always repping Detroit. He's always loving it. And so I love Nate Burleson.
Nice. Give me a tight end. Who's your favorite tight end from him?
I know this is going to be an interesting one as well, but Tony Scheffler, we got him in free agency. I think it was 2009 or 2011. He came from the Denver Broncos, and this guy always entertained me with these big catches and then these dances. I called him Tony Ketchler. I love that guy.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna go with it. Maybe what's his name? Hawkinson. You think Hawkinson would be one of the greatest of all time? I like him. I think he's a really good tight end.
I think he's really good, but the problem is health. He's like a Swift, where he puts up numbers, but he hasn't been consistently healthy. We got to see for him, he's got to be on the field and go through some of these injuries. We need him in 17 games, not 9. So hopefully he can do that this year. And look, if he puts up 800 yards passing and he stays healthy, maybe I'll throw him on that list. But right now it's a little suspect for me.
All right, give me 3 cornerbacks.
cornerbacks, Dre Bly. Obviously, he was a really good player for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go with Big Play Slay. Hey,
I
you
had to throw
corny
it out there.
god!
That's what I was doing. It was like I was reeling it. I was like, here we
You
go,
already
babe.
know.
Here we go. Give it to me.
Big Play Slay. Look, him and Matt Patricia did not get along. We traded him away, and it is good for his career because you want to see him be successful. But he repped Detroit quite a bit. He's a character and a half. Gotta love him. And Quandre Diggs, he was a safety, but he also played cornerback for the Lions. I love him. He got traded to Seattle. He was a hell of a player for the Lions. He hit people hard.
How big of a deal is it when Slay comes back to Detroit? Like, do you still got the fan base that are still mad about it? Or people like you're gone? Move on. They're
No.
over it.
You know what happened with Matt Patricia and what came out with how he treated Darius Slay. He does not. Slay doesn't have haters here, and Slay doesn't hate the Lions. He hates Matt Patricia. I don't know what you heard what Matt Patricia was saying about him, but what he was saying should have got him suspended from the NFL. It was sick. It was gross, and I kind of feel bad that how he got treated. He got treated like an inhuman. So when when Matt Patricia left, it's like, you can't be mad at Slay for that, because if that happened to us, if we got talked to like that just as a human being, we'd be scrapping with this clown. So
Right.
there's no hate there.
But we had our Chip Kelly who sunned off all of our good players. That sucks, man. So that's when things like that happen in the NFL. But coaches, who's your favorite Lions coach of all time?
Man, this is an interesting one. I could say Dan Campbell, right? I could really do that. I love this guy, but right now I'm actually going to go with Jim Caldwell. He done a phenomenal job here in Detroit. He took our team and made it respectable. Took us to the playoffs. We honestly should have beat that Dallas game in 2014. We had the number 2 ranked defense, and this guy was a leader of men. And until Dan Campbell proves that he can do that, I got to go with Jim Caldwell there. I love the guy. Hopefully we get him on the podcast soon. He's just a man's man and a leader of men.
Nice. And I have to do this because I want to hear his name. Your best kicker and kickoff returner.
Oh, man, kicker is Jason Hanson. Jason has the go. We had him on just about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and love Jason Hanson. He's the GOAT. That guy kicked. He played 20 years for the Detroit Lions. God dang. He has the all-time points record here in Detroit. Love this guy. Kick returner. That one is interesting. We've had a lot of kick returners, but I'm going to go Jamal Agnew. He was, man, every time he caught the ball, he could go the distance nearly every single time. We shipped him off away as well. I think he's in Jacksonville now, but he was a really good kick returner for the Lions for many years.
I love Mel Gray.
Mel Gray. Yeah, it's a little bit above my time.
Yeah, Mel Gray was a stud back in the day, man. I used to watch him take them to the house, punt returns, whatever. He did.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this game this Sunday, do you think it's going to be a close game, a blowout? How you feeling about what the bye? I know you say you think they're going to lose, but do you think it's going to be like a close game, a fighting loss? Or do you think we're just going to just do our thing and just run all over you guys?
We got crushed last year, 44-6. It's not going to be like that this year. This team is much improved from talent-wise, as well as understanding the scheme and everything. So I think it's going to be a close game. I got 38 Eagles, 32 Lions, high scoring because it is week 1. I think we lose because you guys got all around the better talent, but the Lions are going to show some heart. I know a lot of Eagles fans think they're just going to walk all over us, but I think they'll be shocked and see that that's not going to be the case, at least offensively.
Okay, so some of that, I agree with, I do believe the Lions got better. It's not going to be a walk in the park. I do believe that part. I do believe the first half of the game will be very, very close and interesting. But if Gannon gave up 31 points, he would be fired on Sunday. He can't even reach 32. Yeah, 32 points. He will be fired on Sunday. He will never be able to come back. With the defense we have, you let another team walk in here. And I'm not even just saying Detroit. I'm saying any team. You know what I'm saying? Any team just come in and just, score all over you like that. That'd be That'd be
I'm telling a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. We have a really, really, really good offense. It's probably the most underrated offense in the NFL right now. This team has been on it can it can go down on anyone at this point. The weapons are there. And Ben Johnson's our offensive coordinator working with Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. He's extremely aggressive. He'll probably go on fourth down every single time if it's within 3 yards. So you're going to see that. And you're going to see an attacking team. They attack, and they run the footballs. Don't be shocked if it happens. And I tell you what, don't be mad at your defensive coordinator either.
Oh,
This is
I
something
will
that
be.
this is
I
something
will be
that
because, like you said, we have some of the best talent ever. One of the best defensive lines, the best cornerback group. We just got Charlie Garner Johnson, whatever, the safety from the Saints just came over there. He's a beast. He add to our safety spot too, man. Like our defense is looking pretty crazy right now. And like I said, first half of the game, I think it's going to be like 31-14. But the majority of the points come late, like third quarter more than right off the bat we're just going back. I think the first quarter is probably be more of a maybe 7-7 type thing. Teams are warming up, getting used to each other. Two good talented teams, really playing some good football. And then, but every quarter after that, I think that's when it's going to the talent will kind of separate the two teams, and we pull it off. Well, that's not too bad of a beating. I could have said like 40. 44 or 44-7 or something. But I think it's going to be like one of them games because I feel like our team is dominant, and for us to really be dominant, we have to take care of business, get the teams we need to take care of business against, and we need to beat them in a fashion that our team, if we're one of the top, 5 teams in the NFL, would do to the a team that's working on becoming great. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think the Lions should definitely be a good first half, and then after that, we need to do our thing and take over. But like you said, you watched your team more than me. You said that you think that's going to be a lot closer. I'll be interested to see what happens, man.
Yeah, I've seen this team now 2 seasons up close, and it's just this training camp. I don't know if they're on steroids, but it's the offense has dominated every single possession, whether it be training camp, and the first string offense has dominated in preseason. It's not there. Everybody's open because there's just so many weapons, and the run game is extremely effective with the offensive line. So, like I said, that's what I believe. We'll find
That's
out
good.
here in
Yeah,
a couple
everybody
days.
gets their own opinion. It's good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a packed house. Do you think it's the hype for the Lions, or you think Eagles fans traveled well to the game?
I think Hard Knocks has a lot to do with it. I think there's a lot of hype going on because of Hard Knocks. I think people are drinking the Kool-Aid just a little bit. Like I said, a lot of Lions fans, I did polls, 75% of Lions fans think we're going to win this game. I guess I'm in the absolute minority because I don't believe we're that good. I guess, anything can happen, but, people are excited because of Dan Campbell, Hard Knocks. They're seeing the talent be changed. They're seeing the culture start to change. And so they're excited. I mean, we've been so bad for so long that to see, generating all this excitement, it gets the fan base all excited. So that's what's going on there.
All right, man. Well, it's going to be a good game nonetheless.
Yeah.
And guess what? Football is back. So that's all that really matters. We can watch our team play every single week, instead of talking about it every week, trying to find new things to talk about our team about. But hey, thanks again for coming on the show. Let everybody know if they have not subscribed to you, where they can find you at and what you're going to be up to.
You can find me at 2 places, a YouTube channel called Lions Nation Unite that's run by Herman Moore. That's my boss there. And Chrissy, she worked for the Lions for 10 years, really starting to build something there, bringing in a lot of old players, current players, a lot of good stuff, own studio. You can also find my personal channel, Lions Talk with Mike or Mike by Chat Sports. Put in Chat Sports in the search engine or Lions. You can find me there. I got this face and it's easy to find.
Nice, man. But thanks again. And if you guys have not subscribed, subscribe to Bird Game 31. I see some Lions fans and they're great content over here. We talk all NFL with all the different teams, coaches, players, whatever we can get up on the show. And subscribe to BGN Sports Media. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a great day, great game. Fly, Eagles, fly. And we'll see you next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.